Hey guys, so last night we made another tier list on stream. We made a tier list based on what the least gatekept classes are in the game to the most gatekept classes in the game. And you guys might be thinking, whoa, 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 gatekeeping, that's toxic. Well, here's the thing, right? In Lost Ark, whether you agree with gatekeeping or not, whether you do it or not, whether you like it or not, it exists in the game. And it's something that we all have to deal with. And it's especially important for new players because they're the ones who are being gatekept the most out of everybody. And I always say this, but there's a million things that are preventing new players from getting into the party. From things like roster level, gems, engravings, stats, all these things, right? Those are all factors to getting gatekept. And one of those is also what class you play. Let's say you see a Reaper who's brand new and he's applying for a party. Would you rather take the new Reaper, or would you rather take the new Bard or Paladin or Artist? More likely than not, the Bard, Paladin, Artist is going to get taken over the Reaper. So, if we can do something to educate new players about what classes are being gatekept the most, I think it can be very useful and a helpful tool for those people who are trying to look into Lost Ark and try to figure out what class they should play. And as always, this is just going to be based off of my opinion and the collective opinion of everybody in my community. It's by no means a Bible of any sort, of like, for sure, you should use this class, play this class, whatever. As always, play the class that you find fun. Play the class that you think is interesting and fits you as a person. Doesn't matter if you're lower on this list, higher on this list. At the end of the day, everybody has their kind of own standards for what they use for gatekeeping. So use this merely as a guideline and take it with a grain of salt. But as always, we had a lot of fun doing this on my stream. I stream every single night on twitch.tv/misoxshuru, so please come join me. And also, this Saturday, starting at like 11 to 12 p.m. PST in the afternoon, I'm going to be starting my first ever 24-hour stream, and we're doing a lot of fun games, maybe doing a lot of horizontal content, which I absolutely hate doing. We're going to be doing some giveaways, things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, if you are interested in tuning in, please come and join me on Saturday, starting at around 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. We're going to be going on for 24 hours and having a lot of fun. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get to the video. So we are going through every single engraving and talking about which classes we think are going to be the most gatekept classes in the... So we're going to start here. Rip Bozo. Second tier is going to be GTFO, my PT. Okay. You're aight. Wow. Giga Chad. All right. That is our tier list right here. At the top are the classes that get gatekept the absolute most. Everybody hates this fucking shit. You don't want it. Every time you see this guy in your party or on the party finder, literally throw up. And then at the bottom, you're like, wow, literally, I want this guy in my party every single time. And you know what? I'm gonna say, might be a hot take, but you probably want some supports, right? So we have Artist here, we have Pally here, and we have Bard here on the bottom. Where the fuck is Bard? There we go, Bard. Okay. And then I think it probably wouldn't be very far off to say Red Lancers are also very welcome into parties. I mean, even Blue Lancers, to be honest, right? I think both Blue Lancer and maybe Blue Lancer's like right here, but then Blue Lancer's right there, and then Red Lancer's down here. Everyone loves a Lancer. Exactly. Everybody loves a Gun Lancer. Is there any single support that you see that you're like, I think it might be Bard, might be the most gatekept support, but we can put that up for interpretation later, right? Bard is the hardest. I agree. I agree. Bard is the hardest. Gatekept, Sork, Pally, Spec Artists. Yeah, well, we're not talking about specific people like being bad at building their classes, right? We're just talking about like the classes themselves, the correct build, everything. We're gonna put Blue Lancer still here in the WoW. They're still really good, but they're not like crazy. Who is Rip Bozo? I personally think that our Sork is probably at the tippy top of this list. I don't know what you guys think. Both summoners. Well, here's the thing, right? Anybody who's playing summoner right now, well, actually, CO summoner is pretty kind of at the top of the list. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Sork belongs right at the tippy top of this list? Igniter Sork? Actually, even Reflux Sork, right? Both Igniter and Reflux Sork. Do you think they belong at the top of this list? Like, if you're looking at a pug, right? And there's like a list of people, list of classes in front of you. Are these the classes that you're gatekeeping? Miso's pulling classes I played? No, I'm not. Sork is weird. There's a lot of super juice Sorks out there. But the thing is, even with super juice Sorks out there, right? I think that a lot of the people who play Sorks, they pay to win their Sorks and get their Sorks really juiced. And as a result, they actually kind of suck at the class. I'd rather actually get a Sork that had like level 8 and level 9 gems over the Sork with like all level 10s. All the crit sins are wow, easy Giga Chad. I mean, I kind of agree with that to an extent, right? So I'd say like Peacemaker, for example, is going to be WoW. People are going to be accepting this class WoW for sure. I think like Deadeye, Enhanced Weapon Deadeye, very likely a WoW class. Because for the most part, people who are playing Deadeye, Enhanced Weapon Deadeye, are usually pretty damn juiced at their class. Like, they're pretty good at their class. People who aren't, people who play Deadeye are just good at their class. I think that's a fact. So that's where I'm going to put them, right? I'm not going to say all crit sins because as a Pistolier player, right? As a Pistolier player, I feel like I get gatekept quite a bit. Even though they're a crit sin, Pistoliers get gatekept a lot. The Pistolier class is like, it's very low ceiling in terms of damage, and as a result, a lot of people don't like taking them. Hi, Pistoliers, thanking me for accepting. Exactly. Because the floor is very high, but the thing is the ceiling's low. So a lot of people don't like them for that reason, because they're not bringing as much damage as they would want them into their party. There's a lot better crit sins in the game to select for that reason. I honestly think Arrow is a very high value class. I think people accept Arrows very often. I don't know if I put them... I feel like the Giga Chat tier is probably like reserved for like these classes right here. But I think like... I think this is pretty closed. Like, the doors to Giga Chat are pretty closed at the moment. But we might come across something later, right? I think, like, Arrows are very, very well liked because they have they're a high floor and a relatively okay ceiling at this point in the game. Put Summoner and Rip Bozo. I mean, look, I honestly think CO Summoner, unfortunately, is in kind of the Rip Bozo category. It's not to say that CO Summoner is a terrible, terrible class, but it's a very hard class to play. And for that reason, on top of being a hard class to play and having a very low floor, it's extremely tough for that class. People say, I think MS Summoner does have better value. I do think MS Summoner does have a better value, and the people who are playing MS Summoner are usually pretty decent at their class, in my opinion. It's also a high investment too, pretty much for a new player, yeah. Mayhem is still Rip Bozo even if I play one. I don't know. I feel like Mayhem's not that hard to play these days, but I do think that they still have a kind of a bad reputation. I really do think they still have a bad reputation. Mayhem is definitely Rip Bozo, you think? We'll put them there for now, right? We're going to put them there for now. I think, in my opinion, when I think about it, right? I don't think that Mayhem Berserker's that bad anymore. But I think they still have a very bad stigma in the community. And as a result, they might belong in Rip Bozo. Yeah, I don't think Mayhem's that bad. I really don't think Mayhem's that bad. But in the general public, right? We're not thinking about like how good the class is, but like in the general public, in the general sphere, I still hear a lot of shit against Mayhem Slayers. BT Zerker, it's kind of interesting because I feel like BT Zerker, like, they don't really bring much to the party. But at the same time, the only people who play BT Zerkers are pretty good at the class, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree. with my opinion. But I do think that BT Zerker, while they don't bring that much to the party in terms of like synergies and stuff like that, even like, you know, when we're talking about two Zerkers, right? I think the people who play BT Zerker are usually pretty good at their classes compared to Mayhem, which a lot of people just play. These Zerks are so rare, I just take them to see what happens. I take BT because they're rare. And that's the thing. They are rare. And usually the people who are playing them are good at the class. Same with PS Shadowhunter. I do think PS Shadowhunter is alright too. Now, the reason why I think PS Shadowhunter is alright is because they are a non-positional class that for the most time they have a really good counter too. And the people who are playing PS usually are decent at the class. Again, it's another rare class. People don't usually play it because there's not hype around it. And the people who play it are usually pretty decent at the class. And it is a good class. It's not a bad class at all. So that's why I put it there. Now, next up is... let's go another easy one. War Dancers. I think War Dancer FI, honestly, I don't know. I feel like FI War Dancer might be Giga Chad. Like, I think, like, people in general, they see a War Dancer, FI War Dancer, they're like, all right, come on in, baby. You're an easy-to-play class. You provide crit sins. You provide attack speed sins. You provide good utility all over the place. I think FI War Dancer. FI Meh? ESO come? I mean, I think both classes are good. I think both classes are strong. But I feel like ESO War Dancer probably a little bit lower on the tier than FI, just because, like, ESO is a little bit harder to play. I take both. Instant Accept. Do you think both of them belong in the Giga Chad then? I think there's too many in the Giga Chad. Giga Chad should be a special rank. Why don't we do this, right? We'll need a new tier. God. Why don't we do that, right? I think this will work. Pally is def, not bis. I mean, I think, honestly, if I see, it doesn't matter who it is, right? If I need a support, doesn't matter if it's an artist, doesn't matter if it's a Pally, doesn't matter if it's a bard, I'm taking all three of them. So it's like, for the most part, these supports are just going to be taken no matter what. And there's not really too much of an order to them. Okay. I think Pinnacle Glaver is 100% Giga Chad. Pinnacle Glaver is 100% Giga Chad. Nobody is gatekeeping Pinnacle Glaver. I think that they are just going to be pretty much universally accepted for the most part. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just going to be universally accepted. Now, for Control Glaive, though, I think that they drop down a tier. They're still very strong. They're still strong. But I think they drop down a tier. Just because the class itself usually doesn't bring as much damage. Their synergy is crazy, exactly. Maybe even God. I don't know if I put it... Again, I think the God tier really just belongs to supports. I don't think I would put this anywhere. Actually, to be honest, I feel like I'd take Glaver over the War Dancers. I really would take Glavers over the War Dancers. Depending on what you needed. If you needed Crit Sin, maybe not. But if you don't need Crit Sin, Glaver, I'd definitely take it over a War Dancer. Control has an ancestral stank on it. And that's the thing about a lot of classes in Lost Ark. They have like this reputation that carries out throughout the rest of the game. No matter how good they are, right? No matter how much they get buffed, they just have this like reputation that's put onto them, slapped onto them from ages ago. I think that Slayer, honestly, Predator Slayer, goes in the okay category. Because you're not like offering, I mean, you're offering a lot of stagger and destruction, right? But people don't really usually think about that for most content in the game. But I think they're pretty unoffensive. I think Slayer's here. I think, honestly, Punisher Slayer might be... They're not offering a lot to the party. But at the same time, I feel like there's just a lot of... Like, anybody who's playing Punisher is, like, really good at the class. Yeah, Punisher's really strong. And anybody who's playing Punisher is probably good at the class. And probably pump. Surge Blade. This one is definitely... I mean, I think just for their synergy, right? I think just for their synergy, you'd at least put them up in WoW. But that's just... I don't know if that's like a misconception or what, but for me, that's what I'd do. Surge Average Surge is Rip Bozo because they usually 4K DPS. That's the thing. That's the thing that makes it really difficult for me. I feel like in the past, before the balance patch, right? Surge was easier to play. It wasn't as strong in the ceiling, but I think it was easier to play. Average Surge is dog shit, sadly. Yeah, I know. And that's the reason why I wouldn't put them in Giga Chat or God. I feel like the average Surge Blade, there's just a lot of risk in putting them in your party, and as a result, I feel like a lot of people, like, not a lot of people, but I feel like they're getting gatekept more than these classes up here, in my opinion. Gatekeep Surge Blades on all of them. It's like that, and like, but I also think for RE, despite being kind of the similar, they're just a little bit weaker. You think Surge is okay, you're right? I don't know. What do you guys think? If you think it's okay, you're right, put a 1. If you think it's in WoW, put a 2. I don't want to bust people for free. Okay. All right. We'll put it in okay, you're right. We'll put it in okay, you're right. Again, this is our tier list, right? It doesn't matter as much as like what I think. If you guys agree, if this is a tier list that you guys agree with, we'll go with it. We got that set. Punisher greater than Surge IMO. You think? You think it's like this? You guys really think it's like this? If Surge did the less damage taken was exactly. If I was a back attack class, right? I would definitely do this. I think if you're not playing a back attack, okay, you guys are probably doing this, right? But if you're playing back attack, then it would be like that. I think it's definitely situational in this case. This is definitely a situational situation, and you know this will be in the. This is situational. I really think this is situational. When I'm playing if I'm playing an entropy class, it's gonna be like this, right? If I'm playing an entropy class, it's gonna be like this. If I'm not playing an entropy class, it's gonna be like that. Pride and Master Summoner on the same tier. The reason being Master Summoners in this tier is because I think most Master Summoner players are pretty decent at their class. If you're not decent at your class, for the most part, you're not playing Summoner at all. So there's that. We're gonna hold on to that conversation. If we need to talk about it again later, we will. But for now, let's move on to some other classes. Let's talk about my mains. Striker. Honestly, this is a hard one as well. There's just a lot of bad strikers out there, in my opinion. There really are. Doo-doo tier for strikers. It's hard. I would either put them at the bottom of okay, you're right, or at the top of GTFO my party. GATEKEPT. I like strikers more after change. Of course, I think strikers are way better after their changes. I think that they're way better after their changes. They give 100% crit synergy uptime, and they give attack speed synergy. But it ends up being kind of like the Blade situation, where a lot of strikers just doo-doo. GTFO, GATEKEPT never let them in. Their synergy is great, but even then, them playing with Uar Laz irritates me to no end. That's true. They're not mech doers. It's really sad, but it's true a lot, especially if they're Umar Laz, right? If you see a random ass striker out in the fucking like party finder list, right? And they're playing Umar Laz. You're just like, this dude's not gonna contribute shit. He's probably gonna be shit at his class. He's probably gonna be not doing mechanics, but he does bring crit and attack speed synergy. If you just need striker synergy, take better one arrow, Aris Nod. I mean, it's sad. It's my main. But I can't not agree with you guys. I can't dispute the fact that I think that, for the most part, people are gatekeeping strikers. Strikers are designed to be the main character, but perform like they haven't gone through the training arc yet. It's like, it's so bad. Like, I kind of, like, sometimes think about, like, bad Sorks. Striker is my main, guys. Striker is my main. I love this class. But if I'm seeing a random-ass Pug Striker, and I see any of these other classes up here, I'm probably gonna gatekeep his ass. Let's head into transform classes. I don't think demonics are very offensive, to be honest. Same with legacy, but they might also be in GTFO like this, right? In my opinion, they might be here. It's decent. Exactly. I don't think it's that bad. I do think that these classes are pretty unoffensive. They're not going to be, like, doing big damn, but, like, am I really, like, going to be gatekeeping them, like, super hard? Probably not. But at the same time, in my mind, right, honestly, I might even put it like this. Like, in my mind. But I don't know about you guys. Legacy GTFO, transform them to fill the party, not to build one. It's true. Both even control. I don't know about control. I feel like Glaber synergy is so good that you take the control regardless. Pistolier at least gives crit and better DPS than DI. I don't know if Pistolier gives better than DPS than DI, to be honest. I feel like the average DI player will do more damage than the average Pistolier player. Shit Mayhem's moved on. I agree. Ish. I still think there are some, like, Garbo Zerkers. Like, I rarely ever see Zerkers MVP. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I rarely ever see a Zerker get underline damage. Or even on MVP. Like, on the family portrait. I'm gonna be real with you guys. My Sag Berserker is amazing. Yeah, there's some really good Berserker players. But if I'm in the pugs, if I'm challenging in the pugs, right? The pug land, the pug wasteland. For the most part, I don't think I've seen a good Zerk. I think maybe this is the right order. Pug Zerk, Vader, and Pug Zork. I mean, I agree. I agree with that one. Which is why Sork is up here at the tippy top. They are the kings of goddamn Rip Bozo right now. Have you ever played with a good control? I mean, I have a friend who plays control and he's not terrible. Like he's good. But I also have just never seen a control Glavier in the wild. That's the thing. When was the last time you've seen a control Glavier in the wild? There are none, exactly. So it's hard to really say. I think control, like the Glavier synergy is just that good that I would just, regardless of Pinnacle or Glavier or control, I think that it would be a good pick. So I think at the moment this is a good place for the classes at the moment. Let's move on. I think Scrapper's alright. I think Scrapper's alright. Are definitely not offensive in my opinion, but at the same time, I don't think that they are in the WoW tier. I really don't. I think that they're strong classes. I think they're good, but man, would I even put them like this? Again, I feel like Scrappers and Predators and Slayers are kind of in the same situation, where it's really hard to mess up a Scrapper. Scrapper got good public perception. I've never seen them do good damage. Tie's greater than Shock? Oh, I agree with this. I think it's easier to play Tie than Shock for sure. Shock Scrap's hard though. I mean, I think both of these classes are good, and they're both very strong. But I think it's easier to play Tie than Shock. And the average Shock player is just not, like, the average Shock player is probably a little bit worse than the average Tie player. And that's just what I think. Problem with Shock is its spec, yeah, it makes it clunkier to play and harder to play. And as a result, people just don't play as well on it. There's honestly a lot of okay, you're ite classes, to be real. Because there's just a lot of classes that are just kind of like, they don't really offer too much, or like they offer stuff, but they're kind of hard to play. So yeah, I think there's a lot of those classes. What do you guys think about the Soul Eaters? Because they're strong classes, but they also don't bring synergy. Exactly, Soul Eaters are strong. They're strong classes, but they just don't bring synergy, and they're also kind of hard to play at times. But some Soul Eaters looks fun, but some Soul Eaters are 0 damage. Yeah, they don't get Gatekept. I don't think they get Gatekept. They might be in the okay, you're ite category, to be honest. Maybe near the top. Night Edge greater than the full moon. Soul Eaters are so many of them, so I can't really say. I would need to wait a month or two to see the real ones. I think they're fine and okay, you're ite. The order of this is a little bit hard to tell sometimes. I think there's a lot of classes that could shift around, depending on like the lineup and things like that. But I do think that Soul Eaters belong above these. I think for the most part, because Soul Eaters are bringing more damage than like the Predator Slayer, I think they're usually up here. So I think the Soul Eaters are fine where they are. And we could go back and change it. Let's move on to the Arcana since we're already on the conversation. I do agree that Emperor Arcana is harder to play. Even though they're crit sin, right? I feel like they're kind of hard classes to play. And as a result, they're just further down on the list. I don't know, if I see a 16 Arcana, I just let them in. Most Poke Arcanas are over GS and Arrows any day. Really? Like, kind of like this? You would put the Arcanas up here? Arcana's rare to see that they're high enough eye level, they're likely competent? That's true. You don't think Control should be up here. Where would you guys put Control? Type in the chat where you guys think I should put Control. Haven't really seen Control, so I don't know. Rip Bozo or GTFO, Rip Bozo, OK GTFO, GTFO, Dumpster, Rip oh my god, you guys are that against Control? Oh my god. Okay. I think there were enough people saying GTFO / Rip Bozo that I think I could comfortably put it down here for now. Again, we can re-look at this list later. Let's move on to the Reapers. I think Lunar Reaper, GTFO my party, for sure. I hate to admit it, because I love Lunar Reaper. It's my favorite class to play right now. But Lunar Reapers, there are so many bad ones. Hunger and WoW. Lunar and GTFO, Hunger and I let Lunars in sometimes, they disappoint me every time. Hunger is somewhere up here. Again, it's this, they're in this tier, they're in this category for me. It's like, they're whatever. I don't care if they're, you know, if I see them, I'll take them. Are they my top choice? No. But I don't think they're going to be offensive. I think, honestly, they're here. If this was before buff, right? They'd be down here in the fucking Rip Bozo right here, number 1, right above Sorg. But because they got buffed recently, I think they're generally the floor for Lunar Reaper has just gone up so much, or Hunger Reaper has gone up so much, that I don't think it's too big of a risk to take them. Now, there is a risk that they die, and that's a real one, which might bring them down like that. What do you guys think? Above Deathblades or below Deathblades? Dying is the biggest DPS loss. Gatekept. I mean, again, I just think they're kind of like unoffensive right now. I don't think they're that bad. I'd rather take anybody who could stay alive rather than take personal damage. Would you put them like here then? Oh my god. Okay. Okay, we'll keep it down here. We'll keep it here. We'll keep it here for now. We'll keep it here for now. Man, you got this goddamn Reapers is savage against Reapers. Okay, so there's that. Let's move on to the sharpshooters. Where would we put the sharpshooters? I personally, if this was my list, right? I'd put them like right here or something like that. LC maybe lower. Maybe like something like that even. Yeah, LC, GTFO, DSR, I agree. Because LC damage is just low. I think damage is too low on LC. LC is what CO Summoner wishes to be. Okay, next up, let's go to the Bonk Masters. What do you guys think about Bonk Masters? In my opinion, think they're aight. Well, GT's a rarity, right? And usually I just kind of like, you know, accept them because they're a fun class. And I think, I mean, honestly, again, I need to do my research on GT, which is why I'm making a GT Destroyer right now. But it seems like they're not as bad as they used to be. RH Giga Chad? I mean, I wouldn't put them in Giga Chad. I honestly wouldn't put them in Giga Chad. They are a Giga Chad class, but I wouldn't put them in Giga Chad for like gatekeeping tier list. GT's a pity accept. I kind of agree. Which is why I think like GT would be like an okay, you're aight, you know, type of situation. And same with like RH. I think they're in like the okay, you're aight tier. I don't think I would gatekeep them. You see, here's the only time where I would say like I wouldn't accept a destroyer. You're in a raid that you can fucking taunt the boss in. 90% of destroyers suck ass at taunting. And that's why. That's the only time where I'd hesitate. I'd sit there and be like, ooh, do I really want to take this guy? That's how you get to MVP on Destroyer. RH Giga Chad, please. Giga Chad. If it was for the memes, right? If it was for the memes, and we're just here like, yeah, this is like fucking Giga Chad class, I put it here. But this tier list at the end of the day is going to be trying to help new players, trying to choose their class. RH is the character that clears the raid when everybody else is dead. Come on. We could put it right there, at the top of okay, you're right. Put it in WoW and we're good. Destroyer is good in Voldyke. I mean, I agree they're good in Voldyke, but there's so many destroyers that just like are shit at taunting, and it annoys the hell out of me as a back attacker. I'm gonna put it here for now. We're gonna put it here for now. Okay, we're gonna put it here for now. Let's move on to AT Scouter. I still think anybody who's playing AT Scouter is probably good at their class. And as a result, I'd probably put them here in this category, maybe. They're rare enough also to be like, have that unique factor too, right? It's like, oh wow, an AT Scouter, ooh. So like, even though they do less, you know, on average, like, you know, maybe these guys do more damage. Like, they kind of get that unique, like, ooh, fancy type of like vibe to them where I take them. I think, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I just think, like, there's a lot of, like, average, like, it's just player skill at this point, the average player skill. The average player of AT is just much better than the average EVO Legacy player. We're gonna put them up here. They have that, ooh, unique factor, and, like, usually they're pretty good at their class. What about the artillerists? I think this guy is just, like, Rip Bozo, because who like, literally, nobody plays this class. Literally, nobody plays this class. I think, like, the problem is I just never see a pug one of these, is the problem. I legit have never run into a pug FPE. Never. What about Barrage? What do you guys think about Barrage? Is this a GTFO type of situation, or is it a fine situation? Is Barrage a GTFO situation, or a God 150%? With Wheelchair, they might be dumb, but they won't die. Yeah. They might be on the bottom of the okay, you're right. For some reason, I want to flip this tier list. I'm sorry, guys. Let's flip this tier list. Why is Gunslinger there, not Pistolier? Because Gunslinger just does more damage. Gunslinger just does more damage. It's an honest, and I think that most people will not disagree with that. I think Wheelchair is just here. I think Wheelchair is here. And here, actually, you know what? This is where, now that we have this, right, we can add a below here, and then we put this class here, and then we put, like, this class here, we put this class here, we put this class here. Put Lunar and Control in there? I don't agree with Lunar at all. Again, maybe it's just because I play Lunar, and I have friends that play Lunar, but I don't think they belong in there. We could potentially put Control in there. Everyone who plays PM is at least decent at it though, and Pistoler people just made it do backflips. I agree. Again, I don't see that many shit gunslingers. It's very rare. Like, if I'm in a pug situation, most gunslingers are passable. Here's the thing, Sam. Again, it's not whether or not Pistolier is in GTA is like good or not, right? It's the general feel. Like, when you see when most people see a Pistolier in their party search, if you put these two together, right? If you put these two together, I am 100% taking this over this. And most people, I think, would agree. And, again, as a Pistolier player, the amount of times I get Gatekept in Sonneville is insane. Why is GT Knight? We pick them for the memes. We pick them for the memes. We pick them because we feel bad for them. Again, I think Pistolier, we can have an argument for this one. This one can move. But let's put everything up first, and then we can move things around. Robust versus EW, or EO. It's really tough because EO is just like, you're either like a god at the class, or you're like complete garbage. EO is kind of like Arcana, yeah. I don't think I'd put EO down here in GTF for my party, because usually EO players are pretty good. Like, they can pump like crazy. Anybody who's playing EO at the end game is probably insane at the game. Robust on Giga. I mean, I'd love to do because I play Robust, but I do think that Robust is probably somewhere like here. Or here. I just think, like, Robust doesn't pump as much as EO, and it still is like a hard to play class. Would you put him like here, kind of like this? Or like kind of like that. I play EO over Robust. Robust has less utility. I mean, I agree with that for sure. Like, Robust is not a mech doer. EO is a mech doer. Robust offers a lot less to the party than EO. Literally, we have Rachel over here. The moment I see a mech, I'm turning off hype. The thing is, how often have you seen EOs below main level, though, is a thing. I feel like I rarely ever see an EO below, like, main level, 1600 plus. Rare for sure, yeah. They're very rare. And for that reason, I think for the most part, we're just gonna put them up here, because anytime we see them, they're usually up in, like, in the main, like, the 1600 plus category. And I think TTH, probably like that, honestly. Or maybe like that. Honestly, TTH might even be down here, even though they're technically better than PM. Nobody plays TTH. Your GS is TTH. I mean, I think that they're. I think there's okay. I think there's enough just even in this chat, right? There's enough TTHs to where I'm not gonna put them into fuck. So maybe I do like maybe even that, to be honest, because anybody who's playing TTH probably knows what they're doing. I think here's the only reasoning that I have for TTH versus PM, right? Most people who are playing TTH know what they're doing. Actually, this should be like this now. Mayhem's should be 100% above DI, I think. Mayhem better than DI for sure. No wonder why I never get raised as a new player and on Mayhem Zerk. Since you won't put Lunar where it's supposed to be in the fuck, move it to Rip Bozo. We can move it up to Rip Bozo. We can move it to Rip Bozo. We can move it to Rip Bozo. Mayhem has a stank, but in fact it's hard to fuck up. Mayhem alone is standalone tier. I feel like Mayhem just has a really bad reputation. Would you guys hate it if I put it there? What about Pistolier? Type in the chat what you think you would put Pistolier as. Beside Mayhem? Something like this, maybe? Okay. Now, LC, I think, was another one, right? That we had some discussion about. Where do you guys want to put LC? Is it still in GTFO my party? Or do we put it up? You know they'll do average at least. Do we want to put it, like, up here-ish, maybe? I think anyone would play Pistolier over LC. I mean, I honestly kind of... If we're putting them side by side here, right? I might even put them, like, here, honestly. If we're going to put them like that, I'd put them even up there. Like, DB greater than ESO, greater than Hunger, greater than EBO, greater than Bonic. DB, ESO, Hunger, Denot. Yeah. No, that looks right. That looks right. This one could move, I'd say. It could be like that. Why is Blue GL no Giga Chat? Just because it doesn't do as much damage. Do you think we should move GL up here somewhere? Or maybe like right here? There's perfect. Okay. I think EW is less gatekept than GS, but it's close. I agree, actually. I do agree. DB Striker on OK. If it's on OK, right, it would have to be like down here. Either here or here. That's fine for you? What do you guys think? Anybody else? ESO back down? You think ESO back down? I think DB's... Yeah, I personally like playing ESO a little better than DB. I think I'm more... I think they're going to be more consistent in DB. But... Okay. But this is our list, guys. I think we're pretty happy with where it is. Alright, guys. That is our list that we came up together with chat with everybody. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comment section below whether or not you agree with where we placed everything and whether or not you're happy with the list. Of course, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of, discord in the comments. There always is with any tier list. But as I mentioned at the top of this video, this is just it's a fun thing. But also, in many ways, an informative thing for new players to help choose their class because, again, I think that there are a lot of situations where new players are, gatekept. And if we can reduce the reasons why they're getting gatekept, right? By playing, let's say, a very desirable class, then I think that's a good thing. So, yeah. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, and I also stream on Twitch every single night, starting at 10 p.m. PST. So hopefully I'll see you guys on my stream, but if not, hopefully I see you guys on the next video. All right, guys, peace out.